Tommy V in Michigan. He was on fire this morning.
Okay, thank you, Tommy V in Michigan. Yes, sir. If you share my prayers.
Tommy V's on. Yeah, we'll jump over there.
Tommy V doing great stuff over there.
Okay, we are streaming live on YouTube. Good morning again, everyone. I'm Judge John Parker with the Clayton County Magistrate Court. This is a bond hearing calendar this morning. I'm sitting by designation, and we have one case that is State of Georgia versus Taquasia Presley. And Ms. Presley is present, and her attorney is Mr. Tolles, and then representing the state is Ms. Freeman. And so, Mr. Tolles, I will turn it over to you.
Yes, Judge. I think my witness is logging in, but before the court is Ms. Presley. And I do apologize for some of this background noise. I'm in the library. I thought it'd be quiet. Let me.
It's okay. I can hear you fine.
Okay. Okay. Ms. Presley is charged with reckless driving, speed restrictions, unlicensed resident, 30 days, and homicide by vehicle. In the system that I'm seeing, there is a bond for the reckless driving of $2,000, a speed restriction of $500, and unlicensed residence 30 days, $1,500. However, there is no bond for homicide by vehicle first degree, and so we would be asking for bond on that, and maybe a readjustment of the bond for all of the charges, so she can be able to get a bond. Your Honor, we had a prelim a couple of weeks ago, and she 1 second. Sorry about that, Judge.
No problem.
So at the preliminary hearing, Judge, a couple of weeks ago, my client was accused of she was in a car with a young juvenile. She was picking up the young man from the school. I think it was her girlfriend's child, and the allegation is that she was driving excessively fast. A car had pulled out of I don't know if it was a driveway or something, or a parking lot or something like that. Had failed to yield the right of way. And it was initially deemed his fault. And then the car was T-boned. My client, I guess it was a T-bone type collision with that particular vehicle, and the driver of the other car ended up dying from their injuries. Miss Presley and her young juvenile, they were not injured to any significant degree. There was an investigation, and it was a rental car that my client was driving, and she was after the police went to go find the car, they did what they, there was, I guess, for lack of a better word, it's called, I guess, a black box or something. Some box, when your airbags deploy and things, there's certain information that is given, and so they stated that this box told them that she was going perhaps maybe 100 miles per hour on this particular road. But the impact of the collision at the time of the collision, according to the box, at least, and I'm certain, I don't know how reliable that is, or if that's something that can even be used in court, but it was like 50 miles per hour, which would have been in the range of that particular speed zone. My client has denied, that she was driving excessively, and because of the hours, I think it was during school hours, during heavy traffic hours, that it would have been impossible for her to be driving 100 miles per hour on that particular road with all the traffic and and her having a young boy in the car, it just doesn't seem possible. There wasn't really a whole lot of witnesses. There was one witness that we don't have a name for. The officer was not able to give a name for, who stated that my client might have been driving fast, although there was no estimation of speed. But bottom line is that the victim in this particular case had the last clear chance to avoid the accident and had a duty to look both.
Judge, I'm going to object on that. That is not what the officer said, and
No,
that
no,
is
no,
something
I'm
for a
saying
civil. But
that's my argument. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, right. That's my argument, is that I didn't know, the officer did not say that. I'm saying that when you pull out onto a road, you have the last clear chance. That civil law, having done accidents, you have the last clear chance, regardless of the speed of any vehicles. You have the last clear chance before you have to yield the right of way to cars that are going the speed limit, not the speed limit. You have to make sure for your own safety, not just because. Nevertheless, Judge, this case will, eventually get worked out. It was bound over. It's a probable cause standard. So the issue before the court is, does Ms. Presley deserve a bond? And I believe she is. This is a car accident, Your Honor. There was nothing intentional or malicious about this particular case. It is a tragedy because the young man died. But under the Ayala factors, I don't believe I'll let the state speak to her record, but I don't believe she is on probation or under any felony, probation or anything like that. As far as she has ties to the community, she lives here, and that was the witness I was going to call today. I think is Brittany Nichols. Brittany Nichols is who I planned on calling. And
I'm here.
She's here. Okay. And if you could turn on your video, Ms. Nichols, just so we can move this along. This is our only hearing. Your Honor, can I swear her in and ask her some questions?
Yes, that's fine.
Ma'am, could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you shall give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay. Please lower your hand and state your full, true, and correct legal name.
Brittany Janine Nichols,
How do you know Miss Presley?
girlfriend,
How long have you known her?
probably over 15 years.
Okay. And do you have a child?
Yes, I do.
I had stated in my opening to the court that the child was in the vehicle. Was that your child?
Yes.
Was that child significantly injured in any way, to your knowledge?
No, not at all.
Okay. Going back to Ms. Presley, if she was released on bond, does she have a residence where she could stay?
Yes.
And where would that residence be?
I forget the address.
Well, let me ask a question. Would she be staying with you?
No, she wouldn't be staying with me.
Was she living with you? Who was she living with at the time of her arrest?
My cousin.
Your cousin? Okay. Is your cousin living
Yes.
local, live locally?
Yeah, here in Riverdale.
Riverdale.
Yes, here in Riverdale.
Okay, so the two of you live in Riverdale?
Yes.
Okay. She just lives at another residence with your cousin, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did you know if Miss Presley was employed at the time?
Yes.
And where was she employed?
Chipotle on 85.
And how long has she been in Atlanta?
Over a year.
Okay. As far as resources for making bond, who would be assisting in that effort if she was granted a bond?
Myself, her aunt, just a couple of few family members. We're going to get it together for her.
Okay. Would you describe yourselves as having a lot of money, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to pay for a bond?
No, not at all.
Okay. What would be, I guess, collectively, if you had to pay it to a bondsman, I'm not going to get into percentages, but just as much money do you believe you could raise right now if she was granted a bond?
Mm, I wouldn't even be able to put an amount. I mean, we would just do the best that we can to get up any type of.
3,000, would that be something you could do?
Yeah, yeah, with all of us together, we're gonna come through.
Okay. All right. Um, so if a bond was say set at maybe $25,000 and with fees and things, it got up to 3,000, could you bond her out?
Yes,
Okay. Um, do you believe that Miss Presley is a flight risk? In other
no,
words, she'd flee the
absolutely not.
jurisdiction? Okay.
No,
Would
not a
she
chance.
return to court when asked?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do
I
you
would see
believe
to it.
any way that she would try to intimidate any witnesses of the victim's family or anything like that?
No, no, sir. That's not her
Okay.
character.
Okay. And do you think she would commit crimes if she was released on bond?
No, that's not her character at all.
Okay. And it's your understanding that she was picking up your son from school?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to tell the court regarding?
I just want to say that, it's unfortunate for, all parties involved, and it has taken a toll. The relocation here to Georgia is very new. We had a number of situations back to back. My car was stolen.
Judge, I'm
That's
going to object at this point. This isn't
Well,
relevant.
just as it relates, let's focus on Miss Presley, her getting out of bond, coming to court, her character, things like that.
okay. She is very docile. She's not a confrontational person at all. She works and goes home and comes and visit us. And her job is waiting for her to return. And as far as her character, like she's not a confrontational person. She doesn't really get in trouble. And I believe it's just unfortunate, the whole situation. And if she can get bail, that would be a great thing for our family. And I just hope it all works out in the end.
Thank you. Your Honor, I have no further questions for this witness.
Okay. Ms. Freeman, do you have any questions for the witness?
No. Ms. Nichols, good morning. My name is Cheryl Freeman. I'm with the District Attorney's Office.
Good morning.
Just wanted to know, you stated that Ms. Presley had been here for about a year. Where did she reside before coming to Georgia?
Where did she reside before coming to Georgia? In New Jersey.
In New Jersey. Okay.
Yeah.
Were you in New Jersey with Ms. Nichols?
With Miss Presley?
I'm sorry, with Ms. Presley.
I was in New Jersey, but not with her.
Okay, but you said that you all have been together for over 15 years.
On and off, yes.
Okay, all right, just checking.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have, Judge.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Just
All
one
right.
last follow-up question on that issue, Judge. Ms. Nichols, is it your contention that you all consider yourselves residents of Georgia, that y'all plan to
Yes,
stay here?
absolutely.
Okay. All right. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Thank you. And Ms. Nichols, you can turn your camera off. And Mr. Tolles, anything
Yeah.
further? From your
Yeah,
side?
just judge that my client has a job. She has ties to the community. She has a job waiting for her. Again, this was a tragic accident. Obviously, there's going to be some dispute as to who ultimately was at fault. My client does not have vast resources for a high bond, and I don't think that it's necessary to hold her in jail, especially with the backlog of cases that we have in Clayton County, where it's taken 2, 3, 4 years for people to come to trial. I don't think it's necessary to hold her in jail. Doubtful that the case will even be indicted within 90 days. Anyway, I'm asking the court for a bond in your area of 20 to 20 total bond of 20 to 25,000. I believe that bond would ensure her appearance in court. Bond is not meant to be a punishment, is only to ensure that the person return. My client doesn't have a passport, not going to get on a plane to Sweden or anything like that. Even if she was any argument that could be made, she goes to New Jersey or something like that. I mean, she'd be one fugitive. She'd be brought back. But she's not going to do that, Judge. She's going to reside in Riverdale, stone's throw from the courthouse. She is going to work, and she is going to defend herself from what she believes she's not being rightfully accused. Again, we'll get into that another day. But for the purposes of bond, she meets the ILF factors. We'd ask that you set bond in the low 20s. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Freeman?
Thank you, Judge. I do want the court to know that during the hearing that we had, the witness did testify that Ms. Presley was going at just an extremely high rate of speed. And when the victim pulled out of whatever, if he was coming out of a driveway or business or whatever it was, that it was unreasonable for him to have anticipated how fast Ms. Presley was driving. And at the point of impact, just the general nature of how when a car strikes another car, it did it slowed down. So when Mr. Tolles indicated that it slowed down to around 50 miles per hour or something like that, that was at the point of impact. And the information that the officer retrieved from the box indicated that Ms. Presley did not attempt to slow down. So they're using the type of car it was a relatively new car, because I think Attorney Tolles had asked about were there skid marks. Those type of cars don't provide the skid marks. There was another term that the officer used that they look for, and even with the box, to determine if a car slowed down, and whatever it was, there was no indication that Ms. Presley slowed. So she was going at a high rate of speed, and this was in the early afternoon, which certainly placed other lives at danger. Ms. Presley does have a little bit of a history out of New Jersey, and that was one of the reasons I wanted to ask about where she resided prior to coming to Georgia. She's only been in Georgia for about a year, Judge, so I would say that she does not have strong ties to this community. But her record, the things are pretty old in New Jersey, but so the court is aware in 2004, there was, this was an aggravated assault, possession of a weapon for unlawful purpose, and unlawful possession of a weapon. And let's see. It looks like in 2008, it may be the same case or some kind of probation thing, but I think it's the same case. There were the same charges. That in 2012, there was a theft by receiving stolen property, as well as a forgery. And again, all of these are in New Jersey. And then in 2012, there was, it looks like a possession of cannabis, criminal mischief, and resisting arrest. And that's all I'm showing in New Jersey, and I don't show a history here in Georgia. But again, given the length of time that she's been in Georgia, I would not state that she has strong ties to community. At this point, Ms. Nichols indicated that Ms. Presley did not live with her, would not be living with her if she makes bond. Before she was arrested, she had been residing with Ms. Nichols' cousin. We don't have an address. It sounds shaky at best to me as far as where she would be residing if she is released, Judge. We have, our decedent. We have someone here who lost her life because Ms. Presley was speeding in our county. So we are asking that she remain on no bond status. If the court is inclined to grant Ms. Presley a bond, I know she already has a bond on the reckless driving, speeding, and a no license. On the homicide by vehicle, we're asking for a minimum of $75,000 on that. My office has been in constant communication with the victim's family, and they are, of course, against bond. They believe that Ms. Presley, certainly if she gets out,
I would object, Judge. If they're not testifying, which case was continued for them to be here, I'm going to object to the DA hearsay about I don't have any objection to saying to object bond, but to go beyond that, they need to testify. So I'm going to object to the DA talking about stuff that's not in the record.
And Judge, what my argument would be, one, the case was not continued for the victims to be present. When Attorney Tolles originally asked for the case to be set on bond, I indicated that under Georgia law, we have to give our victims notice of a bond hearing. And I believe at a bond hearing, I am entitled to, if the victims have made a statement, to give what the victims, what their wishes are regarding bond.
And I have no objection to you saying that they object to bond, but I think going beyond that, there needs to be testimony. And so I'll just stand on my objection, Your Honor.
Okay. And I understood the victims do not want a bond. I didn't quite catch what else other information you were providing from
Just,
the
that was the thing.
That was it,
just
right.
They're against bond.
Okay, I understand that. Okay.
And
Yeah, and I'm sorry to interrupt. Hang on. I just need to take this real quick. Hang on a second.
okay.
Okay. I'm sorry about that. Go ahead, Ms. Freeman.
And that's all I have, Judge. We were asking if the court is inclined to grant a bond, that at minimum $75,000 be placed on a homicide by vehicle. We will also ask for restrictions. I'm not sure if Ms. Presley had a suspended license or what that situation is, but we would ask that she not be allowed to drive in any capacity while she's out on bond.
Okay. And that's the only, I guess, additional bond condition you all would be seeking?
Yes, Judge. And I guess if the court were inclined to allow Ms. Presley to drive, again, I don't know what her status is regarding a license, but I get.
Yeah, I was gonna say from the warrant, it indicated I think there was only an identification card from another state, and no driver's license. The way I understood the warrant, but
okay, yeah, and I wasn't sure, and I didn't know if she still had a license from New Jersey or what. I just wasn't sure, and so but I certainly would ask that she not be allowed to drive, and if the court is inclined to give her driving privileges, that it kind of be in line with the conditions when we do a curfew, that is only to go to work, school, church, that nature.
all right. And just so I'm clear, there was a cruelty to children charge that was dismissed.
It looks like it was dismissed. Yes.
Okay. 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 Thank you all. I do think bond is appropriate here. I'm going
Judge, could I respond to
sure
the last word? Okay. again, we understand that bond is in discretion, and we would just ask, like I said, for a reasonable bond. The bond that the DA's proposed, excessive bond is tantamount to no bond. And as far as the driving provision, Judge, because these cases take so long to come to court, to put on a bond that somebody can't drive, and which I would ask the court to, and rather than do that, to say Miss Presley cannot drive unless she has a valid driver's license. And that would be, and also that there be no, traffic infractions or something to that effect. Do not get any speedings, do not get any, DUIs, maybe, or something to that effect. That would be I would ask for that kind of a compromise. I think to say that you can't drive would be, which could be the court 3 years, that she needs to get to work to the restaurant and everything. So that would be my only additional argument.
Just a second here. Okay, I do think bond is appropriate. I'm going to do a bond of $30,000 on the homicide by vehicle charge, and then with the remaining bonds, I think that would bring the total to $34,000. I will put a condition in there that that she may not drive without a valid driver's license. I'll leave it at that, I think. So I will put that bond order today and get that filed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Anything further?
Now for the defense, Judge.
Okay.
No problem, State Judge.
Okay. Well, I think that'll take care of everything today. Thank you all, and everybody have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Oh, and
Okay,
Ms.
thank
Freeman, you can
Thank
send
you.
that bond over, and I'll get that back to you. Hopefully
Okay.
today.
Okay, will do.